Welcome to this tutorial on PowerShell classes and object-oriented programming. In this video, you will learn how to create custom classes in PowerShell, which is a powerful feature that allows you to build reusable and organized code. Classes enable you to define your own data types with specific properties and behaviors, making your scripts more maintainable and professional. Let's dive into the fundamentals of object-oriented programming in PowerShell. Classes are blueprints for creating custom objects in PowerShell. Think of a class as a template that defines what properties and methods an object will have. They encapsulate data and behavior together, meaning you can store information and define actions that work with that information in one organized structure. Classes enable true object-oriented programming in PowerShell, giving you the ability to write more sophisticated and reusable code. This feature has been available since PowerShell version 5.0, making it accessible to most modern PowerShell users. Let's look at the basic syntax for creating a class. You start with the keyword class, followed by the name of your class. In this example, we're creating a person class. Inside the curly braces, you define properties using type declarations in square brackets. Here we have three properties: first name and last name, both of type string, and age, which is of type integer. This simple structure creates a template that can be used to create person objects with these three properties. Notice how each property is typed, which provides built-in validation and helps prevent errors. Once you have defined a class, you can create instances of it, which are actual objects based on that class template. To create an instance, you use square brackets around the class name, followed by 2 colons and the new method with parentheses. This creates a new person object and stores it in the variable $person. After creating the instance, you can assign values to its properties using dot notation. Here we set first name to John, last name to Doe, and age to 30. Each instance you create is independent and can have its own unique property values. Methods are functions that belong to a class and define what actions objects of that class can perform. In this example, we've added a method called getFullName to our person class. Methods are defined with a return type in square brackets, followed by the method name and parentheses. Inside the method, we use the return keyword to send back a value. Notice the use of $this, which is a special variable that refers to the current instance of the class. This method concatenates the first name and last name properties and returns the full name as a single string. Constructors are special methods that run automatically when you create a new instance of a class. They allow you to initialize properties with values right when the object is created. A constructor has the same name as the class and doesn't have a return type. In this example, our person constructor accepts 2 parameters: first and last, both of type string. Inside the constructor, we assign these parameters to the object's properties using $this.firstname and $this.lastname. Constructors make it easier to create fully initialized objects in a single step. Here's how you use a constructor when creating a class instance. Instead of using the new method with empty parentheses, you pass the required arguments directly into the parentheses. In this case, we're passing the strings John and Doe to create a person object with those names already set. This is much more convenient than creating an empty object and then setting properties one by one. On the next line, we call the getFullName method on our person object, which will return John Doe. This demonstrates how constructors and methods work together to create functional objects. PowerShell provides several built-in validation attributes that you can apply to class properties to ensure data integrity. The validate not null or empty attribute ensures that a property cannot be set to null or an empty string. ValidateRange is used for numeric properties and restricts values to a specified minimum and maximum. ValidateSet allows you to define a specific list of acceptable values for a property. You can also implement custom validation logic inside property setters if you need more complex validation rules. These validation attributes help catch errors early and ensure your objects always contain valid data. Let's see validation attributes in action. Here we have a person class with 2 validated properties. The first name property has the validate not null or empty attribute placed in square brackets above it. This means you cannot create a person object with an empty or null first name. The age property has a validate range attribute that accepts two numbers, 0 and 120. This restricts the age to be between 0 and 120 inclusive. If you try to set age to a value outside this range, PowerShell will throw an error. These validation attributes make your classes more robust and help prevent invalid data from being stored. Let's review the key concepts we've covered. First, classes provide a structured way to create custom objects with specific properties and behaviors. Properties store the data associated with an object, while methods define what actions the object can perform. Constructors allow you to initialize object instances with values right when they're created, making object creation more efficient. Finally, validation attributes ensure data integrity by enforcing rules on property values. With these fundamental concepts, you're ready to start building your own PowerShell classes and writing more organized, object-oriented code. Thank you for watching, and happy scripting!
If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit CodeLucky.com for more such useful content.